Lions concern themselves with the opinions of two-eyed ravens. The Eagles' defense sends their regards. And Bijan is coming. Bijan is coming. He's eventually coming. He's active. He's coming, right? He's playing. I hope he's playing. I hope he's coming.
Feeling good on a Wednesday. Sparkling thought.
Hope you're feeling good for a Wednesday. I'm Byron Cobalt from Byron-Cobalt.com. And this is the Fantasy Games 1 Week 7 recap. What we're going to do is we're going to go through what happened in Week 7 and figure out what it all means, I guess. I don't know. Some news for the channel. I've gotten rid of my squeaky chair. I decided to switch this chair with my other chair, which is good. I retired the whiteboard because it doesn't work with my non-squeaky chair. Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce was Travis Kelce again this week. We haven't seen this Travis Kelce yet this season, but we got the Travis Kelce that we've come to know. If you look at the top tight end weeks since I started recording Fantasy Games 1 in 2021. Fantasy Games 1 is a statistic that I created to quantify a player's impact on your fantasy team's chance of winning. Travis Kelce has 4 of the top 6 tight end weeks. I'm going to pull up the chart here. These are the top weeks by position over the last 3 years. Well, 2.5 seasons. So you see here, Travis Kelce with 4 of the top 6. That's pretty good. He has defined the tight end position, I would argue, more than any other players defined their respective position over the last 2.5 years. Best weeks from 2021. He now has a week from week 7 now in 2023 up here, and he has a couple weeks from 2022. Travis Kelce, again, has shown that he is apparently age-proof. He's immune to father time with the Taylor Swift connection. We'll see how that develops. It appears to not be slowing him down at all. No distractions there, so it would seem. So looking across here, one other interesting observation, though, looking at the top players in fantasy for their positions over the last 2.5 years in terms of the biggest games, we've forgotten how good Lamar Jackson was for a bit there. He does have the top 3 quarterback weeks. Only 4 tight ends are featured in this list. All of the top 10 games have come from either Kelce, Andrews, Kittle, or Hockenson. Kind of surprised Hockenson has 2 weeks on there, but it was basically all his production in 2022. Quarterbacks have 5 representatives, with a lot of Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Wide receivers have 7 representatives. Tyreek Hill up there 3 times, Jamar Chase twice. Well, running backs have 8 different players have had a game in the top 10 over this time frame, with Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey being the only ones that are featured twice. So it's interesting how much of a mix of great weeks we've gotten from the running back position lately. Maybe that was a sign of things to come, because running back is becoming a little bit of a problem in 2023. So let's specifically dive into week 7 and see who is not a problem.
Chaos is a ladder.
All weeks must die. If you see someone wearing week 7's face, probably don't challenge him to a duel. We already know Travis Kelce won week 7. Patrick Mahomes coming in number 2. Talk about a nice, bundle here. Mahomes and my auto insurance. I actually think that was pretty clever. I've definitely been paying into my Ridley deductible this past week, though. We'll get to him in a minute. So yeah, if you had the Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes stack, you were pretty happy with week 7. Lamar Jackson's back. Lamar Jackson with his best week since week 3 of 2022, which was actually the second best week that I've had on record for Fantasy Games 1 for quarterbacks after week 2 of last year for Lamar. So welcome back to the top list, Lamar. A.J. Brown with a good week. A.J. Brown's had a couple good weeks in a row here. Back when I was in elementary school, I learned that the Viking explorer, Leif Erikson, got his name because his father was Eric the Red. Thus, he was the son of Eric. Well, my kids are going to learn now. The Vikings, Jordan Addison, Alexander Madison, Jordan Jefferson, and TJ Hockenson. I'm just going to tell them they're the sons of Addie, Maddie, Jeffer, and Hocken, the Viking elders that like to blow that horn or something like that. They're at the age where they actually might confuse real Vikings with the Viking team. So I'm going to take advantage of that, because that doesn't last forever. Alvin Kamara must have heard that Lamar Jackson was getting back on the top list, so he decided to come back on the top list. Welcome back, Alvin. It's been a while. Darren Waller at 80% started. That seems a little bit high for how Darren Waller has been. I'll just remind you, though, that tight end has been a wasteland, so it probably shouldn't be too unexpected. Tight end's always wasteland, it seems. Except for Travis Kelce. Jahmyr Gibbs finally let his managers off the hook. It was all coming down to this game. This was it. And he actually delivered. So congrats to Jahmyr Gibbs owners for having a bit of some life breathed into them. Deontay Foreman with an appearance. Foreman cooking with plates. I've always liked Deontay Foreman. I always thought, actually going back to his days on the Texans, that he looked really good. I guess his problem is he doesn't play special teams, and that's why he doesn't always show up on the active roster unless teams actually need him. But he looked like a genuine mini Derrick Henry with the Titans. He had some great games with the Panthers last year, so this shouldn't be too big of a surprise. Huge week, but less than half of leagues he actually got played, unfortunately. It looks like we're going through, with Dallas on bye, we got a positive Dallas Goedert cycle here. So the Dallas cycle continues. All right, let's see who lost you the week. First off, Aaron Jones, 97% started, only 7 points. It's been a rough time to have Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon have been particularly painful this past year. Gabe Davis still started 58% of the time. That should not be that high as long as he's going by Gabe. Raheem the Dream Mostert with a dud. Thanks to username 293739 for the Raheem the Dream nickname. I like that almost as much as Raheem Mustard or Raheem Mustard. But Raheem the Nightmare is who he was in week 7. I think the Eagles defense for that too shows up here as well. It's too bad, really. I was hoping it would be, I was thinking maybe this would be the week that Jalen Waddle shows up, but he had something really painful appear to happen with his back, but he kept coming back. Cortisone is an amazing thing. I don't know that firsthand though. At least not yet. Eckler, pretty low on the list here. I felt the need to look this up because Joshua Kelly wasn't on any list, but Joshua Kelly is averaging 9.8 points per game when Austin Eckler is playing, and only 4.2 fantasy points per game when he's not. And that makes sense because fantasy football is for degenerates like me. Hope everyone enjoyed Calvin Ridley referendum day Thursday night. This seems to happen when certain players have especially notable performances on the Thursday night game that fantasy football Twitter or fantasy football X just that becomes all everyone talks about. What do you think about Calvin Ridley? Well, I don't think he scored a lot of points. I don't know. Trevor Lawrence is throwing like 200 yards a game and like 1 touchdown. Like there's only so much to go around right now. So once we start getting the 300-yard, 3 touchdown games regularly out of Trevor Lawrence and that offense, then I think we'll start to see Ridley actually fulfill his destiny as the Riddler as opposed to the Ridley deductible. Paying into the Ridley deductible. I'm making that joke twice. I'll cut one of them. And Bijan Robinson. This is one of the stranger fantasy days. It's bad enough when one of your players gets hurt. It's even worse when a player gets declared out before the game. But a player does not get declared out and then doesn't play until the 4th quarter. It's one of the stranger things I've seen happen in a game. I mean, basically, it's kind of like, apparently he had a headache, so maybe it's a little bit like the Terrell Davis migraine situation from, it was Super Bowl 32. But they didn't say migraine. They just said headache. So who knows? I like the idea that Bijan got an NBA rest day. But can't do that. There are only 17 games in the season. Although, to be honest, football players probably need the rest days more than basketball players. Let's go over to the practice field and see, the small practice field and see how the JV squad is doing. D-Hop. Dustin Hopkins, that is, leading the JV squad with his 22 points and 16% started. Do double duty between JV and varsity this week. Deontay Foreman's on both lists. Also, Jordan Addison's on both lists. Jordan Addison was such a good game that 76% started. Still lands him on the JV list. So great job for Jordan Addison. Gus the Bus making his presence known with a great week here. I've always liked Gus. I think he was a little bit forgotten with his past couple of years with injuries and whatnot, but I wouldn't surprise me if Gus Edwards ends up turning around, becomes the guy for the Ravens. He's been there for a while. He's mainly just a short yardage power back, but I don't see why he can't just be the thunder to Lamar Jackson's lightning. Apparently we still have to be concerned with Taysom Hill potentially blowing up sometimes, which seems to happen more often. Everyone knows this. Taysom Hill usually scores more points against you than he ever does for you. 5% started. Good job whoever started Taysom Hill this week. Oh, how Cortland Sutton has fallen. Down to 7% started. Got 16 points in there. It wasn't that long ago that Cortland Sutton, with much worse quarterback play, was a pretty highly touted receiver. With, I would say, less talented quarterbacks. I don't think he's done yet. I'm still holding on to Cortland Sutton. Let's see how Week 7 has impacted our leaderboards for 2023.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis.
Coop fell off his own leaderboard this week, so a bit of a sad day for the Cooper Cup Golden Barrel. Tyreek maintaining a bit of a lead over Christian McCaffrey, with Travis Kelce now up into the 3rd spot. So it's starting to look a little bit more like 2022 again. Main takeaway here, Travis Etienne. Somehow I missed the fact that he was actually the RB3 as of last week over K9. Over Kenneth Walker. But Etienne, now he's up to number 2 after Mostert's bad week. Etienne, I don't know what to make of the fact that his nickname is just his name as ETN as the letters. I feel like there are other examples of that could have been done for names, but I don't know how to Google that and find that out for sure. Just have to trust me there. Changing up, by the way, the colors on the MVP leaderboard, and decided to make the MVP blue for good, while on the season return on investment leaderboard, good as green because of money. Kind of strange when the best value picks were also the first round picks. It's like when they have a sale at, I don't know, a Porsche dealership or something. Like, it's like great value. No one still can't afford it. It's not like you could have taken these players unless your draft slot gave it to you, unless you had like an auction or something. But even then, you can only afford like one or two of them at most. On the all-up charts that I have over on byron-cobalt.com, I don't show beyond round 10 usually in the full list because I don't know even how I would format that. If I were to show that, we have Puka closing in on Raheem Mostert for most value for all the late players. Well, I guess Dallas defense is there too. At least as far as the skill position players. Moving over to the more somber leaderboards. First, we have the Brady wedding ring least valuable player leaderboard. Najee could have had another bad week and fallen right next to Joey B for the bottom slot, but he gets a slightly above average week at about 65% started. So he's keeping his distance ahead of Burrow. So if Joe starts to turn it around, Najee's got a little bit of breathing room if he doesn't want to be LVP this year. We also have Trevor Lawrence, which is just another below-average game, because that's apparently what Trevor Lawrence does every single week. Moving over to the disappearance of investment leaderboard. So those are the players that have done the worst versus their draft slot.
And it's gone.
It's especially bad for Burrow and Najee here. They've kind of got more distance between them and all the rest of the players, with Nick Chubb getting closer. Jahmyr Gibbs might be able to get off this board just because so many running backs were drafted highly and are below him as a result. Which should just make this board just a list of the mid-round running backs. Joey B and the mid-round running backs. One more bonus board today. We got the all-time leaderboard because we have news. Travis Kelce has passed Cooper Kupp to be the all-time, since 2021, leader in fantasy games won. With the big week, he's up to 4.55, with Cooper at 4.39, a bit of an off week. Tyreek's also up to number 3. He's past Jordan Jefferson here. And we also have a new appearance on the all-time leaderboard with A.J. Brown. Round of applause for Travis Kelce for taking the top spot. Good job. Good job, Travis. Pretty good podcast, by the way. If anyone actually has checked out the New Heights podcast with Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce, the algorithm started feeding me those shorts. I hope your season has been edited into a short. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you next Wednesday. If you do want to send your team on a slow ship to Bravos, just remember we're all going down in this fantasy football ship together. It's been a privilege and an honor. Good luck in week 8.
Right, that's it.